Hey YouTube, Casey here, and today I finally have Grandpa Clone Customs 2024 June Wave in hand. Now, while there are 6 new figures in this drop, I feel like most of these aren't very exciting. And I think a lot of other people agree with me on this, because for the very first time, every single one of these figures are still in stock at the time of me recording this, minus one. But before we get into the review, if you are interested in picking up any of these guys and you're in the US, I'd recommend checking out TomTheBuilder.store. He has tons of GCC products available on his website, and I've partnered with him to give you code BLY, which you can use at checkout for 5% off of your order. By the way, all the products that you see in this video I purchased myself, nothing was sent for free. Anyways, let's get into the deep dive. The first figure we're going to be taking a look at here is Commander Gree. GCC released a way cooler version of this figure back in November based on his Revenge of the Sith appearance, but now we're getting a variant based on comics. It makes sense why Gree would have armor like this, since I guess the camouflage only really works on planets like Kashyyyk. While this appearance still obviously looks cool, I mean, come on, it's a Phase 2 clone trooper, I still don't think it's worth picking up for $30. The $30 price comes from this non-hold helmet being an official piece, and now that all the sets that had non-hold helmets are retired, it's becoming increasingly harder to buy these helmets to print on as the prices keep going up. I personally would hold off on this figure, as eventually we might even get a restocked version using a custom replica helmet, which would lower the price of the figure significantly and be much more worth the price. And lastly, I really like the overall design of this figure, but one thing that just would have taken it to the next level is if we could have gotten dual molded legs on him. The green on the legs is only on the front when it really should be around the sides and the back of the figure. It's completely understandable why this wasn't done, as the color of dual molded legs being white and green don't actually exist, but a custom 360-degree print to replicate that look would have gone a long way. By the way, if you don't know what I'm talking about when I say a custom 360 print on the legs, another custom maker named Light Custom has become pretty well known for being able to give us what are kind of like fake dual molded legs by printing around all sides of the figure. But anyways, I'd say Gree is worth passing for now. He would look really cool with the previously released 41st Battlefront 2 grunts though. Speaking of Battlefront 2, we have the 212th Heavy Trooper. Now, this guy is a bit cooler in my opinion than Gree, although I am still getting tired of so many Battlefront clones being released, since most of them I just don't really care about. I've never played the Battlefront games before, so I don't really have an attachment to any of these characters, and they aren't named characters anyways, they're just random trooper variants. But anyways, of course this trooper is designed to match the 501st Heavy Trooper from the Battle Pack, but GCC has added some leg details specifically for this figure, which is really nice. Legos Heavy just reused the normal 501st legs and was missing the strap that goes between the sides of the comma. Speaking of, there's 2 waist capes included, which is nice so you have a color option on how you'd like your figure displayed. Another added detail on this figure is the inclusion of battle damage in the design. The weathering is meant to match that of LEGO's 212th Troopers, which helps this figure to integrate more into your collection even better. $26 is an okay price for this figure, but if you have a big 212th army, it might be worth picking up a couple. Another Battlefront 2 clone is the default ARC Trooper skin. We've been getting some Battlefront 2 ARC Troopers from GCC over the last few months, and this is the last one that we needed. There isn't really anything too unique about him, but I do like the dark red and gray colors. Now that the Battlefront ARC Trooper collection is completed with this figure, I'd really like a move away from the Battlefront clones from GCC as a whole. Like I said before, there's not anything particularly wrong with the figure itself, as the print quality is perfect. It's just kind of boring to me, especially when we're dealing with the Star Wars universe where there's so many other troopers and characters that are far more interesting. For $24, this is another okay price, but I wouldn't recommend getting him unless you have the rest of the Battlefront arcs and want to complete your collection. My favorite figure in this drop is GCC's second rendition of the Elite Squad Trooper from the Bad Batch. They look great with the all-black clone armor and the green visors. Arm printing was also a really nice inclusion on the figure, which normally isn't found on the lower priced figures. I would definitely recommend picking up a couple of these guys to put along Crosshair if they ever restock, as these were the one figure that did end up selling out in the drop. For $20, it's definitely worth it, and I can see why they sold out so quickly. No complaints here. Now, the last 2 figures that we got here from the drop are ARC Troopers Blitz and Colt. They're of course releasing to pair with Hammer and Havoc that we got last month in May. The ARC Trooper helmet mold still has the same problem I had last month, where the helmets can be a bit too tight or too loose on the head instead of having that perfect clutch power that they need. Of the two new ARCs, Blitz is definitely my favorite. I just really like that yellow color scheme compared to the design of Colt, who's pretty generic looking, just like I said about the Battlefront ARC. No commas or pauldrons are included with them, but if you're looking for someone to pick some up from, I'd recommend checking out Cape Cantina, who produces cloth pieces better than GCC probably could anyways. I'm not sponsored or anything, I just personally use them and they're the best that I've found for this kind of stuff. Unlike GCC's cloth pieces, they're more papery, so a good tip on how to fold down the pauldrons on the figure is to use this old plastic clone pauldron from Lego, place it on top of the paper pauldron to help hold it down for a few days, and then remove it afterwards, and this should help keep it folded into shape. $24 per ARC Trooper is a good deal, more so with these guys than the Battlefront clones to me at least, just because there's something actually from the Clone Wars TV show. But that's about it for this review. Sorry that this one took a little while to get out there. I was out of town for my college orientation when the drop happened, so since I thought all the figures were going to sell out super quickly, I picked most of them up from an Australian reseller since I would have missed the American drops. Of course, as I mentioned before, this was like the first drop where most of the things didn't even sell out, so my panic was kind of unnecessary, but I had already bought all the figures from overseas, so I kind of just had to wait for them. The July drop actually already happened, so hopefully I can get the July wave review in before I go off to school. Uploads shouldn't completely stop once I go off to school or anything, but they definitely won't be every week. I've also built the base of my Mandalore mock, so I'll try to get started on it too, and hopefully have a video out before school mid-August. If you do have any cool ideas that you think I should include as part of the mock, let me know in the comments down below and I'll take it into consideration. But with that all said, remember that Christ is King and may the Force be with you.